Defying the death zone, a high-altitude climber talks about surviving disaster on Everest and dangerous overcrowding on the mountain. Dangerous and deadly overcrowding on Mount Everest is not likely to end anytime soon. Nepal says it has no plans to limit permits on the world's highest mountain. At least 11 people, 11, have died this season alone. Experienced climbers complain about traffic jams near an area with low oxygen levels. They call it the death zone. That's pretty direct. This season's death toll is the highest since the 2015 Nepal earthquake that triggered an avalanche there. High-altitude climber Jim Davidson survived that disaster.
It was a huge avalanche and a huge powder blast. We got all out of the tent to see the avalanche. And we got powder blasted from both sides.
Wow. He reached the top of Mount Everest 2 years later, and Jim Davidson now reaches the table of CTM. Congratulations on that final journey. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
And you look good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I got 10 fingers, so I'm doing okay.
Very good, very good. A lot of crowding on Everest, more fatalities than people have seen in many years. What's going on there?
It's been an especially bad year. We've had some bad weather, and so the days that people could go for the summit got all compressed. There was a bigger crowd than average, and maybe some people that weren't fully trained. You stack all those together, and it turned out to be a really bad.
Are there changes to the permitting process or other regulations that could fix this?
The government does issue permits, but there seems to be no limit to the number of permits they'll issue. They keep adding more each year, and so we're seeing creeping.
Should they not?
I think they should restrict it some, especially based on experience. It's hard to set an exact number, but if you keep letting more people come, it's going to get worse every year.
I'm surprised at the whole permit situation because it's $11,000 to get the permit, and that's just the piece of paper you were telling me.
Correct.
I mean, there's much more cost in terms of actually getting up there with equipment and the time you have to invest.
Correct. Takes about 2 months. The average cost might be $45,000 US, and it takes a lot of your personal time to get ready and stuff on the family too.
But Jim, some of the video we're looking at, you're literally waiting in line to die because you must know that it's not going well as you're standing there waiting in line. Take us through that process. What is that feeling that people just don't say, look, I'm out of here?
Well, we are up in the death zone above 26,000 feet, and that means even on bottled oxygen, you're slowly dying, and you can just feel
it.
Right.
You can feel your energy draining out of your legs and out of your core, and you get disassociated in your mind. It gets very difficult to be up there just to exist.
What is the people on that line dealing with?
They're dealing with all that and the anxiety of, I know I'm going too slow and I want to summit, and what we call summit fever, which is this desire. You're so close and you want to summit, and you're pulled mentally with this strain of, I want to go up, but I should go down.
Even though you know you could possibly die, you don't get out of the line. Is that the credo with you guys?
Well, not really. I think if you're really smart and you have self-knowledge and a guide and companions, we'll look at each other and say, this is not our day, we need to go down. But it takes great strength and great self-knowledge to make that very difficult
And getting down can be tricky, you were saying, because you have to go past that line.
You've got to, when we pass each other, one of us has to unclip from the line in order to get by each other, yes.
So you're sort of kind of like shimmying by? Is that
trying to cooperate, but you don't speak the same language, you're wearing a mask, it's difficult to talk, so there's constant exposure to danger, yeah.
People climbing Everest, they know it's dangerous, right? They're paying a lot of money to do it anyway. Is it possible in some takeaway from this that with 11 fatalities, the allure of Everest will actually increase and overcrowding will actually become more of a problem?
You would think that things would be a little less next year.
You would think you would hear the headline, 11 people died last year, and you might rethink your trips, even get a refund on that 11 grand.
Exactly.
You would think that, but the data actually shows that after a disaster year, the numbers go up the next year.
Wow.
So it has some sort of pull to us magnetically to say, people say, I want to go there, I want to experience it. And it is a gorgeous mountain, and it's a great experience to try and improve yourself and be part of a great team.
So
there's no qualification required for getting the permit, correct?
Well, the guide companies do some screening, but maybe they don't do enough. Some of the guide companies screen strictly, and some don't. And that's the thing. If you're not ready yet, you can find some company that will take you up. And I think that needs to stop.
So how do you fix it?
Well, I think it requires all of us to take a portion of responsibility. Climbers need to train harder and know themselves better. Guides need to say no to some people. The government needs to restrict the number of permits some.
But you're talking about self-regulation, it sounds like. Who's going to say, I'm not qualified?
Well, nobody. And I think
everyone thinks they're an above-average driver.
Exactly.
Everyone thinks they're an above-average climber.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need several layers. We need the guides to say no. We need the government. One way they could do it is say, you have to climb other high peaks, and if you haven't climbed those, we won't let you go on Everest. That'll keep the business in Nepal, spread the climbers out, and everyone will be more ready when they get to Mount Everest.
Well, climb with Jim Davidson. He's an expedition leader. He's been through it all. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.